nowadays when everything is so pasteurized and we have all these trends and things to draw upon and a lot of things to just copy and paste. It's so hard to believe that what you bring to the table, your experience, your background means something and that it can add something. Why do I have 13 people from the United States in my class that when they're presenting themselves, they say the name of their cities or the name of their states? Why I can't say that I'm from Brazil, the name of my city, which is Uba, by the way. I'm from this city, you know? When you get to know me, I think it's important that you know that I come with this huge baggage, that my opinions are not Oxford formulated confidence. Again, it's not linear. It's not something that you build and that's it. You don't ever have to work on it again. My parents didn't go to college. How could I possibly put in my mind that I would come to Oxford?
This was the first time that I cried on an episode, straight up cried. I don't know if it's gonna show. I don't know if the edits are gonna show me crying, getting emotional, little tears, here and there. But this conversation was like a roller coaster. It started with us talking about authenticity, which is a topic that seems to always come back in these conversations, which I personally love because it's one of my main values. But we talked about authenticity, we talked about Anna's journey, and I'm gonna read her bio in a second, which is so, 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 so impressive. Oh, she also talked about how she and I met over 15 years ago, I think, and it's a funny story. So if I'm you, I wouldn't skip the beginning. And then all of a sudden, we were talking about spirituality and intuition, and it was just, oh my God, I was touched by this conversation. And then when she shared a little bit more about what happened right before she found out that she got accepted into Oxford, it just made me emotional. Okay, it made me emotional. So let me read her bio so this intro doesn't become 10 minutes. Ana Luiza Barbosa holds a degree in international relations from the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, Rio de Janeiro, specializing in economics and sustainable management. She worked at the British Embassy in Brazil, leading and supporting strategic initiatives in climate action and multi-sectoral coordination. Throughout her career, she has participated in international negotiations, structured partnerships between governments, the private sector, and multilateral organizations, and strengthened Brazil and you and strengthened terrible word, so hard to pronounce. Brazil and UK cooperation in climate, nature, and energy. Fancy, fancy, my friends. Currently, she's pursuing a master's degree in public policy, MPP, at the Blavatnik School of Government. I'm sorry if I mispronounced this, and is a member of the Oxford School of Climate Change at the University of Oxford. Yes, she is a fellow at the Lehman Foundation, focusing on connecting climate ambitions to economic resilience in emerging economies such as Brazil. Without further ado, my friends, joining us at the adults table today is Ana Luiza Barbosa. So, what are you bringing to the table today?
Fernanda, I'm bringing myself, not in a bragging way. And I'm hoping you give me the chance to explain myself. But I guess this summarizes pretty well what I wanted to talk about with you today. And by the way, thanks for having me. This feels like a very full circle moment. I guess none of you guys know about this, but Faye and I met each other, I don't know, 15 years ago?
I think 15 years ago, it's been a lifetime.
16 years ago because of Justin Bieber. So, yeah.
I love that you said that.
Long ago. Yeah, absolutely. So she had this fan account, and I was like, she was a diva. Everyone loved her. And I was like, please let me work for you. And yeah, that was it. And we met. So it's a beautiful moment.
I love you. You know what's so funny? When people say like, "Oh, you're a Justin Bieber fan," I used to be a huge Justin Bieber fan, and I'm like, "No, you don't understand. You don't understand." Like, it's not that we're like, "Oh, we love Justin Bieber. Let's go to a concert. Oh, I love Justin Bieber. I know all the songs." No, you and I were like creating promotional content to promote his new music, like singing.
Calling creatives, waking up in different time zones so we could be the first to watch his videos and sending hundreds of tweets. I worked for Justin Bieber.
You did.
That's my first employer, by the way.
Yeah.
Yours too, I think.
Mine
Yeah.
too, 100%. And, like, it was my dream to work for them, and, like, we had this fan account, and we would, like, mobilize the whole the fan base, whatever, so they would use the stuff that we created to promote his stuff, and we called radio stations, like, it was very intense, and some people made fun of it back in the day, but I've learned so much through that experience, not only, really actually useful skills, not to mention the friendships that we created, like, it's been 15 years and we're here, and it's awesome.
Yeah. No, I actually used like when you first start applying for internships, like back when you're in college or university, it's like you don't have a lot to draw for, and like Justin Bieber like fan experience was something that I used and I contributed from like for me to be here today.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyways, our ADHD will make it really hard for us here today, but we're gonna circle back.
I'm so happy that you brought this up, and I am so proud of you and so happy to see where you are, and I cannot wait to see what's next. But even, in these 15 years to see how much your life has changed. You've moved so many times. You've been through a very cool and interesting career. Right now you're in Oxford, which is huge and amazing, and I'm so proud of you. But I am curious to learn more about what you mean you're bringing yourself to the table? Give us some more context there.
So I'm hoping that you don't find me a complete idiot so far listening to what I'm bringing to the table. But I think this comes from a long time of very hard work from psychologists and psychiatrists, and sending here a big hug to Fidel and Georgie, like two very beautiful and important people in my life that have been doing this work for me. But when I say I bring myself to the table, I think nowadays when everything is so pasteurized and we have all these trends and course and things to draw upon and a lot of things to just copy and paste, it's so hard to believe that what you bring to the table, your experience, your background means something and that it can add something. It's much more like easy and charming and appealing to just go for whatever it's there and whatever it's trendy and whatever you think makes more sense depending on where you are. And I'm saying this both in like in personal life but also in the professional life. So um throughout my career, I come from a very small town. We come from the same state, which is Minas Gerais. You come from the capital. I come from a small town, and this is not a place where a lot of people would be very proud to be from, or you wouldn't look at the place where I'm from to be something that would add to my career or to who I am. It's not something posh. It's not something flashy. I don't have a big network that came for me through my parents. I don't have a big surname. I don't have nothing fancy or cool. I haven't like traveled a lot or visit cool places when I was a child or anything like that. Very different from that. But I had time spent at the farm doing stuff that a lot of people haven't even had the chance to get across or get to meet or to touch or to see. I had like since I was very young, I had like these problem solving mindset because like I had my sister who was very young, and then my mom didn't have a lot of time to take care for all of my needs. So I always had to, like make up with the solutions and find my way through this various stuff that was happening in my life. I didn't have like the newest toys, so I always had to be creative and like put a bunch of kids together and throw like a theater party, and I could like oblige all my parents and my parents' friends and my relatives to sit down and to see it. And then building like toys from scratch and all of that. So I'm not by any means saying that people that had more opportunities in this sense, their experience are less worthy than mine. I'm just saying that what you bring to the table in your experiences are also important and they have their place. You may not believe it, You may not see it, you may not hear it, you may not have been in contact with people that talk about it, you're not seeing it in like TV shows and movies or stuff like that. But for instance, when you apply for jobs, I've been working for the British government in Brazil for the biggest majority of my career, and I'm here at Oxford right now, going through the masters in public policy. And for all of these type of jobs, you have to go through an application, and it's very lengthy, and you have to fill a lot of motivations and a lot of letters. And they're not necessarily interested on how of a genius you are, how much of a genius you are, or how many A's or tens. Like in Brazil, we score tens or hundreds of your grades throughout your life. That's not the only thing that they care about. They do really care about what you've done throughout your life. What is it that the kind of perspective based on what you've been through that you bring to the class, you know? They want to bring this diversity. Like a lot of the the big issues that we have nowadays in the country that we live in the world that we live in. For instance, climate change has been caused for people that were running the world and they were thinking in the same way, and they have this very similar background. So you can have straight A's, but no real experience in life. So when you're faced with real life, what you're gonna do about it? Like, I cannot go and say that I haven't been a great student or one of the top of my classes. That would be a lie because I've always been there on the top part. But I've always tried to do more than that in a way that I knew it very intuitively in the beginning of my life, because I didn't have like a lot of experience to draw upon. Like my parents didn't really go to college or stuff like that, so I was just going with my intuition. And I think that's also a big part of bringing yourself to the table, trusting. I mean, there are some signals that come from you that you can feel it, so follow it. So I've always a lot, I didn't know it was called networking back then, but I was like always trying to make friends and building this relationship besides only being class and trying to get the straight A's. And I've when I was in college, my class had around 70, 80 people. And I remembered that people would really like gossip behind my back, saying that I was going a lot to parties and then I wasn't really studying. And I didn't want, I mean, I wasn't part of the people who studied and I wouldn't get anywhere. And I was one of the few people that got out of the college with a good job, like really working with what I have studied. And I got good grades as well. I got some fails because I didn't attend the classes because I was doing the networking bit. Let's put it that way. Um, and by any means, I'm not advising anyone to get like the fails for not attending college. But it wasn't the networking that gave me the opportunities. So
Yeah.
this is not like a math equation. Um, this is like that's life. So, I mean, it's all about trusting yourself and building up on what you are and what you feel.
Yeah. So for people who are wondering, maybe I want to explain this a little bit as well. For people who are wondering how you got to Oxford specifically, right? So you're saying that you were one of the few people that graduated college and still worked on your field, which is international relations, right? So you graduated in that, and then you started working for the British government, and then you got to Oxford. Can you just tell us a little bit of that journey? And then I wanna dive deep into the authenticity part because I think that that's so important.
Yes, sure. So yeah, it's been a long road. I think when you think about these big international universities, at least from people that come from the global south and from the conditions that I come from, it isn't a decision that you can make from one year to the other. So for me, this has been a mid to long term type of plan. So I started with the British government when I was an intern, and then I was climbing the ladder. When you work for a government, because of compliance issues, you're not like promoted. You can get promoted. You have to apply for every single role that you take in. And you have to compete with external applicants as well. So I started as an intern, then analyst, then manager, then senior manager slash head, and then acting director, because then my boss at that time has left and I was covering for 4 months and then I left. So I've always worked. I've that hasn't been This is the first time in my life actually that I'm only studying, apart from my high school year when I was full time studying. But by the time we met, I don't know if you remember that. It was my first time flying, and I could only do that because you were with me because I was underage.
Yeah.
I needed someone to come with me, and I couldn't get a room at a hotel because I needed someone who was like over 18, and then you had to sign your name. And
I did remember that. Oh my gosh, yes.
I had to work as a private English tutor for a year to save money for that.
That I
And then I
know.
spent all my money on that. That's a funny story. So over all this period, I was thinking, not like, first of all, I was like, I need to have a job after I finish college, because if not, I'm heading back to my hometown, because like my dad can't afford me to have me here like whilst I'm trying for jobs and stuff like that. So I need to get a job. But after that, I was like, I really would like to have this international experience. So what can I do to get there? So it's a planning of many years. And I knew also, like, when I got into university and you talk to people and you have access to people who have gone through this journey, you know the things that they are after, right? It depends a lot also on which course you are applying to. So mine is public service. So it would, like, I had to prove to them that I have been doing a lot of things that were having an impact in public service. So I was doing that through my job at the embassy. I worked with climate change and environment. I was doing this through programs in Brazil with Brazilian ministries funding these programs to support climate action in country. So there was a lot of support in terms of public service there. So basically, I knew that I had to be going for roles that would tell the story. So when I first started out, I started work with oil and gas. Then I moved to renewable energy, and then I moved to climate change, and I moved to climate change to work with programs. Because if I only worked with climate change policy, not necessarily it would give me the hook, like the literal hook that I needed into the public impact. I needed to tell a story that my work was impacting people on the ground. So I needed to do that. On top of that, I was like, I need to start having these contacts with these universities. So I was in for any type of initiative that you can think of. So I got a climate leaders exchange with the University of Columbia in New York. So I went there for 2 weeks during their climate leaders exchange that they had last year. I also knew that whilst I don't have a master, I'm going to go for a specialization, because then that they will see that between the time that I finished college and then I'm applying for my master's, I was also interested in doing this research and upskilling myself. So then I got into this specialization. We call post graduation in Brazil, but the denomination is very different depending on the countries. And I knew the type of people that I needed to get in contact with, that I needed to meet, the places where I needed to be, the type of experiences that I needed to have. So it's a plan. You have to be certain of what you want, and you have to go for it. And of course, it's not a linear plan. It was a roller coaster. I had a family issue in the midst of all that. I was supposed to be here last year, but then my sister got pregnant, and I was like, I can't leave the country when my family is undergoing this type of thing. So it's not linear. It's a roller coaster. It's really hard. I didn't have summertime last year because the applications are really hard, but it's really worth it. But there's like no magic secret. It's like if you want it, it's just like get to know what your course is after and then work backwards.
Yeah. It feels like everything was very intentional for you. Like this is the next step because it makes sense for the story. And I love that the way that you're
Yeah.
talking about like thinking about the story. That's got me thinking a lot. And you mentioned you knew what the people that you needed to know were to meet. How did you know that and how did you approach these people? Like you mentioned networking earlier as well, right? So how do you approach that part, knowing which people to know and how to put yourself out there, basically?
Yeah, so these are two different parts, right? Having worked with politicians and CEOs and very high level peoples from an early age, I like to observe people a lot. And I like to think of myself as a sensitive person. I don't know if because I'm a Scorpio, let's blame it on astrology maybe, but I can sense people really well and my friends do agree with that. So given that I had this opportunity as an intern, I started observing how these high level people react. And I kind of built this theory around my head and I started applying it, which is sometimes it can work, but it has never failed for me. I didn't really get like a negative, but it's like these people, they are very high level, the people that we think and we have like the biggest fear of reaching out to. They meet so many people. Their schedule is absolutely busy. They have their days like minute by minute controlled. They're briefed. They've got everything ready for them. They won't remember you. Like, so if you pretend you've met them or if you treat them nicely, um, they will go along with it. If you lose if you lose it while meeting them, they will be like, "Oh my god, I've never met this person. So, I mean, can someone take this person away or I'm just going to give this person 10 minutes, 10 seconds of my time." Yeah, but if you just get in there, if you have to have done your work, right? If you want to meet someone, you have had to Google this person at least. You have to have like I always do this. Like when I'm on my way to meet someone, I Google the person name or the sector of the person and I go to the news part. And then like these are the top news. So I would just name drop the news and like, did you see something like that? And then I just break my way into the conversation. And sometimes you can't get to this person in the first try, but then you know that this person is a friend of someone else. That person may not be like tier one, maybe be tier two. So you approach that person. And we Brazilians, we tend to look into business and networking as something very like we tend to take this into the friendship side of things and tend to look at it like we've been taking advantage of each other, which is not really that. And that I've learned because I've been working for the Brits and then that has made me it easier for me because it's like it's a game, everyone it's trading something there, so you're not doing any wrong. You're not lying. You're not doing anything wrong. So you basically just go to that person and introduce yourself. And then again, we circle back to the point that everyone has something to learn from each other. Like the CEOs here at Oxford, in my course, I am at the School of Government, and apart from the masters, they have something that they call leadership program, something like that, which like CEOs, former PMs, and very high level people go back to school so they can have interactions with us, and they invite us for dinner and stuff like that because they want to have this refresh of ideas, of perspectives. Because when you start working with bureaucrats at all times and you are like only talking to the people that it's at the top who are not willing to tell you what you don't want to listen, it gets really hard to think differently, to approach things in a different way. So, I mean, if you come to people with like genuine curiosity, wanting to meet them. Everyone has been on your shoes at some point of their career. If they're not completely a bad person, they will be really nice to you and, I mean, treat
Yeah.
you well, and maybe this will take you somewhere. But I also understand that the confidence bit plays. I really try to rationalize things so I can get, compartmentalize it from the emotions, because emotions, it's not my greatest suit. But then on the emotions thing, I think the only way, confidence, again, it's not linear. It's not something that you build and that's it. You don't ever have to work on it again. That's bullshit. You have to work on it daily. And if you miss it by one day, the other day you have to do the double work. And I've been working on it a lot for the past like 5 years or something like that. And I'm not a natural confident person. The only way of doing this is actually putting yourself out there. Cliches exist for a reason. And in this case, it's actually, I don't want to do this. I don't feel comfortable of doing it. Just do it. I put myself constantly in situations that I'm terrified of, fucking terrified of, just for the sake of you have to do it. If you want to go where you want to go, this is something that you face daily. So it's not that big of a deal. Like, I'm not a doctor, you know? I'm not there yet. I'm not there like signing on nuclear bombs or I don't know, or anything that serious. This is the time that I have to play and be bold and stuff like that. And do things on purpose. Sometimes you do good, sometimes you not do that good, but you rarely do really bad.
How else are you working on your confidence?
Amiga, my friend. Yeah. So weekly analyst sessions. I've got a backlog of family issues, which are very like the root of my lack of confidence. So it's where I have to do a lot of the work. And I have this really disconnection of where I am today and who I was. And I don't seem to be able to break and connect this person and kind of erase the past. So what I try to do, given that I can fix or am on my way to fix this very huge hole inside of me, I get to bring in the whimsical, the fun, and the cute things, which is, for instance, I like to get ready, do my makeup, look good. This is something that will impact my confidence. I like to have my playlist, my getting ready playlist. It's called Marlene Morrow Effect. And I have there like 4 to 5 songs. Whenever I have to deliver a speech or I have to talk to someone or public speaking or anything like that, I play the songs. And like the songs are so like random. It's like Palco by Gilberto Gil. And then there's like I Don't Want This Night to End by Luke something. Ain't No Mountain High
We
Enough.
gotta share that playlist with us. It's gonna be the description of the episode. I love
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
I love it. It's called Molly Mora Effect. I love doing playlists. I
Yeah.
love it very much. Watching TikToks. Guys, this is not the best advice maybe, but it's like I love watching TikToks or podcasts, like hearing about people that I love. I also keep a Pinterest folder. It's called Muses. And then I save, like I scroll and I save pictures of women that I admire. So we've got there like Marina Silva, the current Brazilian environment minister. We've got there Jane Birkin. We've got there Amal Clooney. We've got there Gal Costa, which is a Brazilian singer. Like women from very different fields. And then I just look at them and then it's just like draw some inspiration from them. And one last thing for the professional part, when I had my work account, like I had a folder where whenever I got like a positive feedback, I used to save it all there. Because sometimes my greatest enemy is myself. I know that. And my head will tell me lies. And then I need someone else to back me up on that. And then on my personal life, I save it on my WhatsApp, or I have a folder on the Photos app where I print screen things and I send it there and I just go back and read it actually, because it does a lot of good. Like, there's nothing better than, I mean, for me, is to be loved is to be seen. This is not my quote. I don't know who wrote it. That's not my quote at all. To be seen by the people who love you, it's really important, right?
Yeah.
So that gives me a boost of confidence. But there are times that you need to lay in bed and get and feel sorry for yourself and eat crappy food and watch the thing that will tear you apart and to start over. Like, do not be afraid of start over. I mean, I do start over by saying,
I feel like most of us think that in order to do certain things, you have to be at this certain state that you don't doubt yourself at all, or that you feel like on top of the world, so no one can stop you. But the reality is, the more you push you further and further, chances are the more uncomfortable you're going to feel. And if you wait for the moment that you're going to be extremely confident, you're not going to question yourself at all, you're just gonna stay stuck. So I love that you're being super real, saying like, yeah, I'm terrified of doing most of the things that I do, but that's not a reason for me not to do them. And when you go and talk to someone, and I really want to talk about this topic a little bit more because I get a lot of questions about this and about like networking and approaching people, and especially, people who are higher up. So when you go talk to them, you say, like, do the work. Obviously, you're gonna do research. Do you have a specific intention? You're like, "I'm gonna talk to this person, and I want X, Y, and Z. So I know that when I communicate, I'm gonna touch on this point." Like, this is part 1 of my question, and then part 2 is more on the bringing yourself to that conversation. How do you not stay too, like, I don't know, you wanna cause a certain impression so that it ends up repressing a little bit of yourself? Like, how do you show up as yourself to these people and not just follow a script? Because I think you're the person, like, you bring this energy to whatever you go, and I think that's one of the things that I love the most about you. Like, you bright up the room, you really you bring who you are in the room, and people can feel it, and I wonder how you do it, and not stay too strict on the agenda or the things that I have to talk about or my intentions, so on and so forth.
okay. So on the first side of the question, I think it's so much easier when you have the agenda. It's great because then, I mean, it's easier. Your mind is set there. You know what to do, what to say. You're there on agenda. You have a goal and you go for it. I used to do that quite a lot back in my job. So, like, I mean, practice makes it perfect. It is a saying for a reason. So I always had to reach out to higher up people to question things about government and stuff like that. But now I don't have like a proper agenda. I am the agenda. Like, what I want to do and what I want to find out is the agenda. But sometimes you just want to reach out to build networking. And then to build networking, to build rapport, it's just like you have to find something that connects you both. If you don't find that, you will be able to go there and shake their hands and exchange your card. But probably he or she won't remember you. Or if you cold mail the person won't even be able to remember where you met them. So you have at least to give something to the person you're reaching out to. Remember, you are the one that's going out there. And I think, I mean, I'm in Oxford now, and what I see is that a lot of people just go for things because these things are shiny and then they're bright. And I mean, they don't really care about the values or what they believe or what they want. If someone is famous or if someone has done something, being that good or bad, people are just gonna be there and then just want a picture. And I'm not that person. Like, I have my values, I have the stuff that I believe in, and I'm not going to be there just to get a pretty photo to be posted on LinkedIn. So um yeah, I wouldn't be able to advise on that side of things. So it is okay to just go to places. And here I'm talking from my side of things. I don't know if that's the full reality when it comes to business. And to just watch it and absorb things from it. You don't have to push yourself to talk to the person if you don't have an agenda, if you don't have something to say. You don't have to always say something. We don't know everything all the time. Don't put that pressure on you. If you're doing something that's too staged or too act, it will show. And I mean, when you say that this is one of the things that you like about me and stuff like that, it's just because I do things very genuinely. When I tell someone that I liked your outfit or I liked your lecture, it's because I really did. I'm not going there and say, "Oh, thank you so much. This was very interesting." No, this was very interesting because of XYZ. This was very interesting because I can link that up with something I've read or something I've studied or something that I'm looking at. Or this spoke to me or this challenged my idea of XYZ. Or, there has to be some sort of linkage. It can't be like, oh, that's great, you know? And especially when you're a woman, that gets even trickier. And so I guess if you don't have anything to say, don't try to make that up. Now, if you have something to say, we now have AIs, for instance. I guess there are many things such as language barriers or you're nervous. Like there's no harm in coming with the question prepared beforehand. There's no harm in over preparing and coming for it to deliver it there, if you want to talk to this person. And you're going to do it being afraid, you're going to do it. Like I have a recent example that turned out to be a big um, link to everything we've been talking so far. I went to a lecture here. Like we are a big university, we have loads of lectures happening at the same time, like events. It's not necessarily part of my school, but it was on Brazilian elections. And then there's like this big name here that I won't mention because of privacy and stuff. This person researches about Brazil, democracy, and he is a very top high faculty member of the school. And he talked about the elections. And then I have a very important question that I wanted to make that no one has made. And um, I came to him by the end of the session and I was like, I was expecting someone to make this question, but they didn't make it. So I was like, maybe I shouldn't, but given that you were here, my name, I'm from this city in Brazil. And then he stopped me and he was like, what city? And then I said the name of my city, like remembering this person is like highest ranking servant of the school. And I was like, yeah, this city. How come do you know this city? And then his wife was born in the city, which is my city. And then we immediately created this bond, Because like a lot of people would have gone in and said like, I'm from Brazil or I'm from Rio or because I've been living in Rio for the past 10 years or I'm from Belo Horizonte, which is the capital of my state. But like, I'm from this city. When you know me, when you get to know me, I think it's important that you know that I come with this huge baggage that my opinions are not Oxford formulated, that what I'm saying and what I'm bringing to you, that's this level of depth. And he got interested in my question, spoke a lot about it, and then he invited me to come along to this high table dinner, which is pretty much what happens in Harry Potter when like the I don't know much about Harry Potter, but I know that the teachers they get along with a separate table and it's higher than students. Harry Potter was filmed here, so there's literally I was sitting where the teachers sit. And I was invited there. You can only get there if you're a teacher or a professor, teacher, sorry, or if you're invited. And he has become kind of like my godfather around here. And I was made like, what? Like, I'm simply a master's student here that has just met with him. And I didn't have a lot of transaction. Like, he couldn't get much from me. But I guess he could see that I was like very honest and coming to him both with the type of question that I was making, but also like he knew my city. He knew how the city was like. And he was like, why is this girl coming here and having the audacity of saying like this city, like we're supposed to know it? Like, why do I have 13 people from the United States in my class that when they're presenting themselves, they say the name of their cities or the name of their states instead they're saying they're from the US. How why I can't say that I'm from Brazil, the name of my city, which is Uba, by the way. I mean, it's like we have to start to belittle ourselves. And I know you have listeners from all across the world, not necessarily Brazil and the US, but it's just like for us, there is it's the big of this angle as well, right? Like there's not just thing that one is better than other. I mean, I refuse to think that things should be this way.
Yes, and I think most people would not say "Uba." I really think most people would just be like, "Oh, I'm from Rio." It's easier. Oh, because the person is gonna understand Rio. They're gonna know Rio. But the moment that you say you're from Rio, even though you spent 10 years there, you're taking this huge part of your story and who you are. And I've never thought about this until you brought this up. Like, no, me coming from where I coming shapes the way I see the world, shapes my experience. This is so true, and I feel like even sometimes when I introduce myself here, I just say, "Oh, Brazil," or I used to say just Brazil, and then I started saying Minas Gerais, and then I instantly, explain. I go, "Minas Gerais is close to Rio, São Paulo," so that the person understands, but it's like, "Yeah, I'm from Minas Gerais. I'm from Belo Horizonte," in my case. So this is so important, and when you bring who you are to these conversations, and it sounds like you have some amazing examples of how that has impacted your career or your time right now at the university. What are some of other things that you think from who you are and your values that you think like I won't give up on these values. I won't, like whatever I do, this is who I am. What are some of the other things like coming where you're coming from?
Yeah. So I guess for me, some things are unnegotiable. So the first thing is like I can't be um feeling okay or comfortable in a space if someone is worse off. Like there's no such thing as bullying for me or like excluding someone unless this person is like racist or this type of person and then I'm actively doing that. Um but it's like no one's ever going to be alone around me or mistreated or injustice if I'm around. And I'm never going to step on anyone's toes to get what I want if that's needed. I'm not gonna stab anyone in the back, and I know you and I, we've been talking a lot about that, um, about how the American culture of, like, stabbing in the back, it's very hard, and I can't live in a world like this. I genuinely need an environment where I feel comfortable with people, and maybe I'm wrong, I'm not here saying, like, this is the right thing to do, but I need to feel connection to people to be able to function, to be able to work well. And like, I really do enjoy and I really do find motivation and supporting people and working in a team and, growing things together. So, this thing of like backing people up, or, I mean, for me, it's very clear there is a space for everyone. And when I start this session saying that what I'm bringing to the table is myself, it's because I believe that there is a seat on the table for everyone that wants to be in the table. But you have to want to be in the table. That's one thing. Not everyone wants to be in the table by doing the work that it's needed to be in the table. But if you want to be in the table, I mean, have a seat. I'm always gonna be the one pulling the chair and welcoming you to the table. And I do hope that the time here doesn't corrupt me in that way. And when I was going through the applications phase, I also applied for a new university in the US. And then I considered that when I chose to be here, because I know that universities in the US, they have this competitiveness, like it's much bigger than it is here. So, yeah, and I'm not selling my soul myself for media coverage or anything like that. I'm not like you probably won't see me doing a lot of LinkedIn, but which I know I should be doing more, but I hate it. It's like
I
therapy.
hate it. I hate it.
It's therapy subject for
I
me.
hate it. Mhm.
Right?
My dream is to be out of it. Like, I work for one day, not like, I don't need to be on LinkedIn because I hate it that much.
I wanna be a public servant, so I
Yes.
don't have to be
Just delete. It's terrible. I hate it. It's my yeah.
I mean, it gives me completely the ick. It's absolutely give me the ick. And all the people that I know that I mean, first of all, the people that I admire and the people that I know that do the have work, they're not there. They use people that they pay to the
Mhm.
media, so it's not their contributions there. That's the first thing. The other people are very my hardworking friends that I adore, or people that are hardworking from my sectors that they are really like posting that they're the day jobs and that I admired and I know that they hate it. And then the other people, they're like constantly posting about it. It's just like, I know you didn't do this. I know you didn't. And I mean, I have a really hard problem in talking good things about myself. So this is like, I'm going to send it to my psychologist and say, like, look, the work that you've done. This is your price. But yeah, this is really bad. I even forgot what we were talking about when I got into the LinkedIn.
You were saying that you're not so about your values and you're not the person who's gonna
Oh,
be, like, promoting yourself on LinkedIn and stuff like that. Yeah.
yes. Okay. So yeah, if I am next to someone that it's famous or has done something, it's not because like I'm there for a reason. It's not because I'm playing the game to be next to someone that's flashy so I can get social media views or stuff like that. That's gotta be a reason to it. And the most important thing that I should have started from it, I'm not gonna be if I get to be like in leadership positions one day that don't take empathy and kindness as I mean the course to my leadership style. We had just seen the former New Zealand prime minister visiting the school a couple months ago, and she is very vocal about it, and she actually has made this her mission, and it's so good that I've always felt this like since very young, and it's really good to see that you're already having women and this place and promoting this because I think this is so important. Again, we need more empathy in the world that we're in. We need more kindness. And I've had so many examples of poor leadership, even from women. And I mean, empathy and kindness changes it all. Like people just want to be seen and just want to be loved. And work is a part of our lives. It shouldn't be everything. And we shouldn't be treated badly for it. We have a goal, we have to deliver to it. And we should go back to our lives and have our spare time to enjoy with our families and all of that. So I mean, to be kind and to have empathy, it doesn't mean to be soft
Mhm.
and I mean, I'm very ambitious and I strive to get things done in the best way possible and I'm addicted to work as my friends like to say, which is a problem. But yeah, I think things can always be done through kindness and through empathy. So that would be it, I think.
I think differentiating that from being soft is so important because I feel like some people roll their eyes because 'cause they're like, "Oh, yeah, empathy, like, yeah, you're soft." It's like, "No, we're still ambitious, we're still direct, we're still like all of these things, but the way that you operate is based on these 2 very important things, kindness, empathy, seeing others and recognizing that, it's not just about you or that you don't have to be rude to someone to get them to do something or work a certain way. So I think that's important. And one other thing that you mentioned in the beginning that I wanted to talk a little bit more about is intuition. So you said, and I wrote this down because you said you referred to it as signals that come from you. And I thought that was so beautiful. What is intuition for you? How do you listen to your own intuition? What's the importance of, listening to that intuition?
Fair, I don't know. Like until the other day, I didn't know that people didn't have these voices in their heads and like these physical, you know, feelings in their bodies. I really didn't know. Like I was recently diagnosed with ADHD, but I've been like diagnosed a while ago with chronic and anxiety. So like I've never had like people talking in my head and this physical um feelings. But I don't know, like this will sound like people will hear to this part and they will disregard every serious thing and I probably have said before in this conversation. But I don't know, I can't put it into words because I just feel it, you know? And it comes like from really hard stuff, but important stuff. But also sometimes I look at an umbrella and then it's sunny outside and then I think it will rain today. You should bring this umbrella. And then I don't and it rains. And I'm like, yeah. Sometimes I'm on a date with a guy and then the first day and then I'm like, I don't know, this isn't clicking. But like it's going really well. Like I
Yeah.
second date, but on the back of my mind, it's like this isn't gonna work. And I continue to insist. So it's a constant battle between hearing it or not hearing it. And sometimes it applies to my friends too. Like people come to me and I'm like, yeah, I don't think you should do it. No, I don't think you should date him. I think you should, yeah, it's not sending good vibes. I can't explain it. It's just like I'm very highly sensitive person. And it has always been this way. Maybe it's because, like, I'm very passionate about things. I love things very much. Like, I'm very intense. So I love the people that I love very dearly. The life that I have, I love very dearly. And I don't know. I guess life is what makes the world happens. And I don't know, and the vibrations and stuff. I don't have like a nice, quotable answer for that because this is something that has always been with me, and I doubted that. Sometimes I put it to test, and it always proves myself that I should trust it. So I started doing it more, and like I came here, I'm by myself. I, of course, like I've made a lot of friends and stuff, but it's not the same thing, right? I'm away from my safety net and all of that. So you have to build it. And I think that part of this being so strong in me, I think, is because the way I was raised, I wasn't like I didn't have like this very close relationship with my mom, so I kind of grew very much alone and like I've never had a boyfriend, so I've learned to live with myself. I've always lived with myself and hearing myself. I'm not telling like a sad story. It's just like I spent like a lot of time with myself and I know myself really well and I do like this self-awareness work and I mean I've just learned it's kind of like a security thing for me, safety thing for me as well. Like I hardly put myself in situations where I know that something's gonna hurt me or gonna cause me some harm. But yeah, there isn't very rational explanation to that. It's just
I really like this topic because I feel like we overvalue intellectual intelligence. We think that that's the most important type of intelligence. We praise the people who are geniuses. We say, oh, this person is so smart. This person, oh my gosh, this guy created an app in his dorm in Harvard. He's amazing. Oh, this guy learned how to code when he was 12 years old. Like, and yeah, it's impressive. Awesome. I can see that. But I feel like sometimes we downplay all other types of intelligence, and intuition is a huge part of who we are as human beings. And that some people just, again, downplay because they think that because you cannot explain or because you cannot measure it or because then it's not real or it's not important. And I think it's one of the most beautiful things that we have as human beings. Some people are more sensitive, like yourself. Some people, like, they're just taken by this feeling and there's no ignoring it. And some other people have to reach for it more. But I do think that in some capacity, all of us have that. It's just that some of us choose not to be aware of it. Some of us choose not to explore it. There's a confusing piece as well, in my opinion, that sometimes that feeling, that very strong feeling, comes from trauma or a way that you learned that certain things work, so that message comes back right now, so it's as strong as an intuition. So I feel like sometimes it gets very confusing, but to
Right.
whoever is trying to learn and like connect with that voice more, I feel like with time it becomes more clear that this is coming from a place of intuition. And I think, to me, it's so like one of the most important things in my life is to get in touch with that and that voice, because I think it's what connects all of us. I think it is what connects us to the universe, or whatever you want to call it. And you don't have to explain it, but bringing that awareness. And you mentioned the body, which is what stores all this and all emotions. And like, I've been trying to even be more aware of this, like a situation that, okay, I'm completely like my shoulders are like this, like what's going on? What am I feeling right now?
This stomach, it's
The
like
stomach.
really, 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 really hard.
Yeah.
It's just like I like sometimes I can it's not an anxiety attack. I know what it is like,
Mhm.
or it's like it's different because
Yeah.
it's not like terrifying.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling in the back of it. It's like it's good. It's like
Yeah.
something is happening here.
Yeah.
Like pay attention to it. It's good. It's magic.
Yeah, it is
Like,
magic.
it's magic.
Are you a
This
spiritual person? Do you believe in like, what do you?
Yes, that's a fun question. Thank God my grandmother doesn't understand English because yeah, she would be very upset at this, my response. But I'm a highly spiritual person. Um and I couldn't have been any other way. So fun fact, my grandfather was a priest. I don't think you know that.
I do not.
So yeah, he left the Catholic Church to marry my grandmother back in the 60s, 70s. Yeah, we have like this very fancy letter from the Pope back then
Shut up.
had to discharge my granddad. Yeah.
Shut up.
Yes. So like my grandmother is like this big communist diva. I love her so much. She's super powerful and like she went against everyone in the city. Everyone hated her. People threw things at her because she took the priest away from the people and all of that. So, anyways, that's not the point. The point is, I was raised in a very Catholic home, and I consider myself to believe in God and Jesus and Catholicism, but I don't disregard any other religion as well. You know, I think that the Catholic Church has done and continues to do very bad stuff and continues to preach a lot of things that I do not agree with. And me as a public policy maker also do believe that religion shouldn't be taking to place when we are making public policy, which are two different things. So let's put it out there. But yeah, I wouldn't be nowhere without faith. Like faith is what moves me. I really need something bigger than me to be able to ask for things, to think for things, to believe. Like for me, and I tell that to my friends. Like I did a public school in Brazil. For those who don't know, public universities in Brazil are like the Ivy Leagues in the US, like a very poor parallel, but let's put it in
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
And then it's cool there to not believe in anything. And again, it was like I've always been the Catholic girl there. And it's like it gives me strength. It connects me to my family. I think faith it's one of the most beautiful things that we as humans have been able to do and to make in our lives. I mean, it's so beautiful. It gives me so much hope. It has kept me standing when I mean, sometimes I didn't see a light in the tunnel, and then I was just like, I'm just do. I came from nowhere. Like, where did I get an idea of doing an international relations bachelor's? Where? sitting in the middle of nowhere in Minas Gerais. My parents didn't go to college. Like, where would that come from? I wasn't born in like in the internet age. Of course, I had access to it, but I just simply did it. Like, how could I like possibly put in my mind that I would come to Oxford? I mean, come on, girl. I mean, so I've always felt really blessed and looked after. And I've always felt this connection. I haven't met my grandfather. He died long before I was born. And I've always felt really connected to him and really connected to religion. Like, in a whole. Like, I'm a very spiritual person and I'm a Mineira. Like, we come from Minas Gerais. It's impossible to not have that. Whoever comes from that, like, it's the first word you say. You're preaching a saint or God from the time that you wake up to the time that you die. Like, what, like, if you say 10 words, at least five of it will be a Catholic word. So it's so important. And I mean, I feel so taken care of, and it's so important for me to have something to believe in. And again, there are things in life that it's for rationalizing. And there are things in life that it's not for rationalizing. And I can make that distinction and be okay with it. There are people that cannot. And I'm really sad for them because I don't know, like, I've always had this psychology and the science support, but sometimes through life, we have a chemical imbalance in our heads, but life also throws a lot of things at us that I don't know if I didn't have faith where I would be and how I would have gone through it. So it's really important to me. And a fun thing is two things: connecting intuition and spirituality. On the night before I got my acceptance letter from Oxford, it was on the 12th of March. I felt, I think I'm gonna get this letter tomorrow. And then in my old house, I have like this bookshelf, and then I went for a book that was from my grandfather. I was like, I have written everything and I was just reading and I was like spiraling. I was like, let me just get something that my grandfather read because he was a priest. He went to the first, school in Minas Gerais because it was for the priests. So he studied a lot. He did philosophy, he did Latin. So he had a lot of books. And then when I got the book, there was a prayer inside the book that fell on the floor. It's here. I put it on a I put it on a picture. Yeah.
What does it say?
It's like it fell on the floor and then I was like I called my grandmother and I was like, this is his handwriting, right?
Oh my gosh.
And then she said yes. And then I was like, yeah, I'll receive the letter from Oxford tomorrow. And then like lunchtime, I got the letter. Where's the light to me for? So it's just basically a very like general prayer. It's just like thanking God for everything, for creating the world, the stars, the sky, the earth, like everything, and the profound knowledge. And I mean, he's basically saying that if we put in the work, you're gonna get it all, both in heaven and on earth, with faith and with joy and with humility. So I brought it with me. It's so sweet.
That's
Yeah.
so special. I love
Yes.
that it's in his handwriting.
Yes.
That is so special.
So I had no like I knew that I had to come here. I knew that it would happen. I knew that it was the right choice to make. So yeah, I feel really washed by him and like having this deep connection. And
Mhm.
of course make fun of it. Like, but I just don't really care because I think that people make fun of things that they don't really know. So I just feel sorry sometimes. Like I do really respect. I really do really really respect everyone. But yeah, I think spirituality, religion, um it's like a hug and it's a support. That's really important, at least for me.
Yeah, I agree. I feel the same way. I think that sometimes when I see stories like yours, like coming from a small town in Minas Gerais, getting to Oxford, having parents that didn't go to college. I feel like in order for you to build up that confidence, and that's why I was curious about what your beliefs are, I think that you have to really believe in life and understand that, like, I'm such a small part of all of this. I have no idea what's possible and what's not. Who am I to put certain limits on myself because what my eyes can see is so limited. So I think that there's nothing beyond that. But guess what? There is. And I think that if you cannot get past that point, then it's really difficult to really expand yourself. So I think like you have to really believe in life to even have the audacity to say, yeah, I'm 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 gonna I'm gonna try. I'm gonna be there one day. And I think that also helps you create confidence on yourself because I feel like when you create also certain values which you have of, really valuing who you are, where you came from, but also the accountability that you have over your life. Of like, this is like, I gotta get after it. I gotta do it. I feel like this ability to know that you're gonna do what needs to be done for yourself, plus the confidence in life, I think that's like the most beautiful thing. And that's how we find this unity. And I think it's so beautiful. So I also, faith is very important to me and spirituality is very important to me. And sometimes, yeah, people make fun of it because they think, again, it's less than the intellectual piece. Oh no, like I'm too, yeah, it's like, "Oh,
Too smart for it.
I'm too smart for it. Oh, this is for people who don't think. Oh, this is for people who need to, like, tell themselves some things." No. If you haven't realized that you're part of something much bigger, and you don't have to believe in a man that's in the sky saying, "Hey, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that," but, you're part of just humanity itself. If you think about it, it's like it's so many people around the world doing different things, feeling the same feelings, like, in different ways, but, like, and then you have this huge universe and things that we don't explain. It's like, how come you think that you're the biggest thing in your life that exists and that you are
Crazy.
being full of intelligence and whatever you want to like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, just to congratulate you on this, on your podcast, because I think it's such a nice to be able to support people to find that truth and to find their confidence, you know? It's really important. I think the biggest difference between the little girl, like, 10 years ago from the person that's here today, it's the level of confidence that I've grew, throughout these years. And I guess there's a lot of content out there. There's no shortage of content in anything, but there is a short of content of, I mean, niche things, of things that are telling the truth, of things that aren't very like north centered, things that take into consideration diversity of perspectives and stuff like that, you know. It's hard. It's not easy to try to build something that's tailored, that's diverse. So well done in putting this initiative and whilst you're juggling a lot of other things on the side of it all. So I'm so glad to be here, like, so honored to. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for everything that you share. This is super inspirational and I love you. I'm so proud of you.
I love you more.
Gotta go.
Thank you. You have to come here. I have to go. I can't go to Chicago because Trump's like
Yeah.
overtree social media. So I'm definitely not in.
Don't come. Wait a few years, 3 years. We'll see how long. But
You're welcome. Well, you're welcome. Who knows where I'm gonna be next year? So
yeah, we're gonna find out.
we're gonna find out. Watch the Disney Channel and you will find out.
We'll stop recording.